Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Pastor Wale Speaks on Family Life. Last Thursday, I started a series, a two-part series. The first part was loving your wife. And I promised that today I will talk about husbands, honoring your husbands. And this is not just for wives. This is for as many people that are would-be wives, even husbands or would-be husbands. I encourage to listen, to share, and to be part of this, of what I'm sharing. So honoring your husbands. Many men complain that their wives don't honor them. And this may well be so, but here's my little offering on the subject. It is said that women need to feel loved, to feel cared for, hence romance. These are demonstrations of affection, and you have a ready ear to hear for them. But with men, there is one word that will break your relationship with him. That word is respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. I love the song that Aretha Franklin did when she said R-E-S-P-E-C-T. You know, a man needs respect. When a wife shows her husband respect, she will have a very happy husband. Okay. Welcome, Apollonia, to this episode. So I am going to do what I did last week. Last week I took the word cherish, and I took the letters of the word cherish and shared some of the important things that a man must do to demonstrate his love for his wife. So this week I'm going to take the word respect, and I'm going to share some of the things that a man using the word respect should do for his wife. R stands for regard. R stands for regard. This is about affirmation for the things that she does well. One of the things that we're quick to do is to blame people when they don't do things well. But we're very slow to affirm people when they do things well. If your husband is a good provider, it's a good thing to tell him from time to time, you're a great provider, I love you. If he's good with the children, tell him, let him know. Affirm him, regard him. Whatever he's good at, make sure you affirm him. Show him that you have regard for his efforts. A man that may not be able to attain the very best, he may not be able to attain the very best, but if he's doing his best, then his wife's affirmation will go a long way. It's soul destroying when a man feels that his efforts are not appreciated. So the first letter is regard. R for regard. Regard him, affirm him, let him know that you recognize the things that he's doing, the things that he's doing well. The second letter, E, stands for esteem. Your man needs to know that you hold him above every other man. He needs to know this, and so you esteem him. No matter what his status is outside the home, he should be made to feel important, esteemed, and appreciated inside the home. Okay, so no matter what his status is, wherever, when he comes home, he's esteemed. He's shown appreciation. He's shown that he's important. Amen. So R-E-S-P-E-C-T. R is for regard. E is for esteem. This is the tough one. S is for submit. S is for submit. The scriptures teach that husbands and wives should submit to one another. However, Paul also emphasizes submission of a wife to her own husband. Submission means letting your husband have the final say. accepting his decision after you've explained your perspective. Submission is bowing to your husband's will. Submitting doesn't make you a zombie. It doesn't mean accepting your husband's decisions no matter what. Submission is about partnership and the mechanism for making choices and taking decisions. Okay. Welcome, Amos, Chinedu, and Lillian. You're welcome. So, I'm talking about honoring your husband, and I'm using the word respect. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. R is for regard. Affirm him, show him, tell him when he does things well. E is for esteem. Make sure that you esteem him above every other man when he's in the house. S is for submit, submitting to him as the head of your family. P is for project. The husband of the virtuous woman of Proverbs 31 was known in the gates of the city because of his wife's industriousness. Projecting your husband is like building a platform under him. The subtle ways in which a wife can do this really endear her husband to her. It also conveys to others the fact that you really value your husband. In many cases, you listen to conversations, wives talking about their husbands among other women, among other people, and some wives say some really derogatory things about their husbands. And that shouldn't be the way. You should project him, give him a platform, let people know that you really, really, really value your husband. So R is for regard, E is for esteem, S is for submit, P is for project, projecting. Just like that projector projects an image onto a screen, you also project your husband into the lives of other people. Let people know that he's a good man, you value him, and so on and so forth. E is for encourage. E is for encourage. God says he created the woman to be a help, suitable for her man. I think a wife should be her husband's main source of encouragement. Sometimes there's more encouragement in the stand that you take than in the words that you utter. More, sometimes your body language counters what you're actually saying. Amen. So encourage him. Encourage him. Just knowing that you're there, that you're rooting for him, is sometimes more than enough to keep him going. Many men have attained great achievements just because they had a wife that encouraged them. I'll tell you a little story about my late father. The very first house he built, this is how he built it. My mother asked him one day to give her a guinea. Now a guinea is how we counted money many years ago. A guinea is £1 and 1 shilling. She said, give me a guinea every day. He would go out to work. He was a lawyer. He had his practice. Some days he would earn 10 guineas. Other days he'd earn nothing at all. But he made a point of giving her a guinea every day. He didn't know what she was going to do with the money. He just gave her a guinea every day. After a few months, she came back to him and showed him the amount of money that she had saved. And he said, wow, this will build a house. Okay? And that is how he built his first house. Because she had encouraged him to save without even knowing it. He had been saving money, and now he had enough money to build a house. That's encouragement. Now, the reverse is discouragement. A wife who pours cold water on all her husband's efforts is going to have is going to struggle at keeping the marriage going. So encourage him. And then C is for celebrate. Celebrate your husband. Celebrate your husband at every opportunity you get. If you make up your mind you're going to celebrate your husband, then no matter how you feel, Because sometimes you just don't feel like celebrating him. Okay? You don't feel he's worthy or deserves it. But just make up your mind that you will celebrate him at every opportunity you get. To celebrate him is to publicly praise and acclaim him. It's saying, oh, my husband's a good guy. Celebrate him. If that's the sort of wife you are, I tell you, it will be very difficult for him to be disloyal or to be unfaithful to you, because he's happy at home, and that's very important for a man, to feel a sense of joy, so that when his friends are going to the pepper soup joint to meet with the boys and all that stuff, he wants to come home. Okay, and then finally, T is for trust. T is for trust. Trust has to be earned. Trust has to be earned. However, before trust can be earned, you have to demonstrate that you are trustworthy. So it's one thing to trust somebody, but before the person can begin to trust you, you have to prove that you are trustworthy. Showing that you trust your husband is an act of faith. It's a seed that can grow a trustworthy and happy marriage. So, trust. I'm not saying you need to be trustworthy, but you need to trust him. So when he says, I'm going to XYZ, you don't argue and say, are you sure that's where you're going? Because that's a demonstration you don't trust him. Trust him. And then if he betrays your trust, you can come back to him and say, I really believed you when you said that's what you're doing, and you didn't do it. Okay? So, honoring your husband is about respect. Don't forget the word respect. Respect means placing a person, in a sense, on a pedestal. It's believing them and just trusting in them. And I've gone through the letters of the word respect. R is for regard. Affirm the things that he does well. Affirm him when he's doing his best. He may not be able to get 100%, but he's doing the best he can. Affirm him. Esteem him. E is for esteem. That is that you hold him above other men in your life. No matter what his status is outside the home, inside the home, he must be made to feel important. S is for submit. Submit to your husband. And by submit, I'm not saying you should become a zombie. I'm just simply saying that you must become a partner with him in the mechanism for making choices and let him have the final say. P is for project. A virtuous woman, the virtuous woman in Proverbs 31, she projected her husband in the gates of the city, and people loved her husband because he projected her. E is for encourage. Encourage. Don't be a discouragement to him. Encourage him. Actively send words of encouragement to him. Encourage him. C is for celebrate. Celebrate your husband at every opportunity you get. And to celebrate him is to publicly praise and acclaim him. And finally, the letter T is for trust. Trust has to be earned. However, before trust can be earned, there must be trust that's based on simple faith. Have faith in your husband. Take the plunge. Trust him. As time goes by, you will find that he deserves that trust, and you can trust him more. It's been my delight to share this with you today, and I'm really excited about this series. Next week, I'm thinking of talking about money. Because money plays a very big role in families. How do you earn money? What are God's principles for acquiring wealth? Now I want to talk about some of those things and how families can work together and not against one another in the acquisition of wealth. So for all of you that have joined today, I say a very big welcome. Please share this. Please invite friends to join. And so have a blessed day. Have a wonderful weekend, and look forward to Tuesday, 4 p.m. next week. God bless you.